my beautiful crafty friends. I am Katia with Lunar Sun Creations and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be making some cards with some open space die cuts. So this is the first die cut I'm going to be using. I got this from AliExpress, and this technique will work best with die cuts that have big open spaces. So off camera I have put some adhesive on the back of some Nina White cardstock. This is 100-pound cardstock. I use this nice big 6-inch roll of double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com, and I've done this twice. Okay, so they both have cardstock, both have adhesive on the back, and I've just cut it out twice. Okay, but it's still adhered to the background. It's still all together. Then I took one of those and ran it through again using a Gemini Crafter's Companion 3D embossing folder. Okay, so now one of them looks like this, and the other one still looks like that. Okay, so now I am going to take a couple colors of Distress Oxide. I'm going to use Mowed Lawn and Mermaid Lagoon. And I'm just going to kind of go over this lightly just so the embossed area kind of picks up that color. So I'm going to go over it with Mermaid Lagoon first, and then in some spots I'm going to go over it with the Mowed Lawn. Then I'm going to give it a little squirts with water and let all the colors kind of run together. And now I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. Once it's dry, I'm going to take a couple finger daubers, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more concentrated color, so I'm just going to go over it just a little bit more. Just very, very random. And then I'm going to spritz it one more time. Okay, and then let that dry. And while that is drying, I'm just going to set that off to the side. I'm going to grab my other piece that is not embossed, and I'm going to use the same finger daubers, and I am going to do some solid coloring in here. So I'm mostly wanting to to ink up the inner bits. So the outer bits, like the outline, I'm not super concerned with, so I'm not worried if it's not neat. And then I'm going to spritz water from high above just to get some droplets. Okay, and then take a paper towel and just kind of tap those off. I didn't quite get enough down here though, so I'm going to go a little bit more down here. Oh, that's a little bit too much. And then pat that dry. Okay, now I've cut it out a third time just in white, and I'm going to take a card base. This is a 5.5 by 4.25 inch card base. I am going to take the outline of the plain white one, okay, and I've left the inner bits in there still with the adhesive on the back to be used on another card. And then I'm just going to place this carefully down onto my card base, and then take my embossed inner bits and do like an inlay technique. Okay, so I'm going to carefully put this in the spaces. Now you can do half of it with the embossed part, and then you could use the other little bits for the rest of it if you so desire. Actually, let's try that. Let's do that. Okay, and now I'm going to take a finger dauber and some distress glaze. And this distress glaze kind of just, it seals the color in, but it also kind of like brings the color back to life, especially with the oxides, because they can kind of dry a little bit chalky and dull. So this just kind of like breathes new life into them. And it's okay if it gets a little bit onto the white. That's not an issue. Okay, and then we can do the opposite with the pieces that we have left. Okay, so I just thought that I had heard someone on coming up the steps of my deck, and so I thought it was my girlfriend coming for a visit, so I went and opened the back door to say hello, and there was a huge black bear standing on my deck, like face to face with me. A little bit shaken. That was not what I expected to find. Okay, whew. All right, so back to work. Wow, that's what happens when you live where there's lots of animals. I decided I really liked the white borders, so I cut that out again in white. So now I've got two that are kind of opposite. And then I still have this border from this one here, right? So I'm going to put it on a card. I can't believe that the cats didn't send up an alarm or anything that there was a bear on the deck. I'm shocked that that didn't happen. He was strolling on in. That was a little bit nerve-wracking because my front door was actually open. I mean, there's a gate that you have to go through to get to the front door, but yeah, having a bear in the house isn't what I would like right now. All right, so this is going to go onto the front of the card base. I'm going to try not to get my big fat head in the way. Oh, I think I'm a little crooked, but I can deal with that. I can deal with it. Okay, so that's down, and now from one of the white bordered ones, I put the whole thing through the embossing folder again. So now I'm going to use the embossed inner little bits in this one. If I can get the tape backing off of them. Once it's gone through twice, the tape backing definitely sticks a little more. Now you could go over this with a little bit of ink again, just to highlight it, but I think I'm just going to leave it white. I just like the texture. Okay, so I've turned them into cards. Let me show you what I came up with to finish them off. So this was the very first one that I did with the partial embossing and then the solid parts. And I just took a little embellishment from my stash. It says, cherish yesterday, live for today, and dream for tomorrow. So that is the first one. And then the counterpart was this one here. And I loved it in the beginning, and then I kept going with it, and I wish I hadn't. The little hearts don't quite look like hearts, I'm not quite sure. And then I used a glitter pen around it, but my glitter pen kept clogging and then squirting out a whole bunch of glitter, so it didn't quite it didn't quite work out how I wanted it, but that's okay. It's not everyone can be perfect, right? So I'm not super happy with this one, but it's all right. And then with the outline of the previous two, this is what I came up with here. So just a solid XO with the teal in the background. And then I wanted something solid black, so then I needed something else black, so I just did some like splattering in black. I might do just a little bit more splatters. I think it needs a little bit more balance for the black, so I might do a few more black splatters, but that's that one. And then with the leftover outline from these other bits here, I came up with this one. For this one I used one of the pieces from my own paper collection. I have so many pieces left from doing my abstract forest album, and I had so many pieces of paper left over, so I wanted to use them somehow. So I used this flower die, also from AliExpress. I've been getting quite a few things from them lately. Not sponsored, but I've just been really digging some of the things that I've been finding on there. So I cut out some flowers from a piece of paper that is very similar to this one, and then just put a simple sentiment and some black centers on the flowers. And I really like this one as well. I think these... Well, actually, you know what? All three of these are my favorite. I like all three of them. I'm not super fond of the other one, but they can all be great, and I came up with 3 cards that I really, really love, so I am happy with that. So, I mean, using the same color scheme, the same die, and the same embossing folder, and just cutting it out 3 times, and I've created 4 really cool cards. So I hope that you give this a shot doing some inlay techniques, but using embossing folders. And then just as I was playing around, I actually made 2 other cards using a different die. So I used this open space die, and again used some of the paper from my own collection, and then cut out some flowers that were also from my own paper collection, and a little sentiment that says, "You deserve everything good." And then it's hard to see, but I used stitched plate, these stitched leaves. So I used that on the blue bits. It's kind of hard to see in this light. I'm hoping that you can see that. It's quite subtle, but it's also very, very pretty. So I made that one, and then with the inlaid bits from this one, so I kind of did the same thing and just did some rustic wilderness green and some water splatters, and then some copper flowers and a thank you sentiment. So these were my other 2 experiments with this kind of process. They're not using an embossing folder, but kind of the same idea. All right, so those are my cards for today. I hope that you love them, and I hope you give this a try. And there's so many things you can do with the same supplies and make the cards all look very different. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there will be more coming very, very soon, so I hope you will click that notification bell so you will be notified every time I post a new video. And might as well hit that subscribe button while you're at it, and the like, you know, like just press all the good buttons, you know, they're all good buttons to push. All right, I will see you again soon. Huge hugs. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.